So apparently, Jake Paul and Tommy Fury have finally agreed to face each other. I say finally because they had previously agreed. They were both training for a bout, and then Tommy Fury pulled out. We all remember that. So here we go again. Hopefully there are no pullouts this time. It is reported that Fury will be making $2.5 million. So very nice work if you can get it. While Jake Paul will likely pocket at least 4 times that purse. So an even bigger payday for Jake Paul. What do you guys think about this? There's been a lot of talk among boxing fans, and I think it's reasonable speculation that Tommy Fury, for whatever reason, didn't really want this bout because of the pullouts and the messing around and the demands and all this kind of thing. But it's apparently going ahead. The fight will take place reportedly in Saudi Arabia. Who have you guys got winning? There's a lot of people who are actually picking Jake Paul to win rather than Tommy Fury. This despite the fact that Tommy Fury comes from a boxing family. Obviously, his dad was a professional boxer in his day. His brother Tyson, of course, and many other people in their family, obviously coming from a traveling background, or at least half traveling background, because I believe Tommy Fury's mother is Maltese or something, or from some place in the Mediterranean. I forget now. He's only a half brother of Tyson Fury, but nevertheless, he has at least some fighting blood in his veins. But Jake Paul, of course, is a YouTuber turned professional boxer who at first people were not taking seriously at all. But over the past few years, he's definitely improved his boxing technique. He's come on leaps and bounds. He's fought some MMA guys and what have you. This will be the first time he's fighting a boxer who at least has some ambition, who's unbeaten, who has some amateur experience, not vast amateur experience with Tommy Fury. I think he only had about 11 bouts in the unpaid ranks, but he does have some boxing background there. So this will be a little bit different for Jake Paul. Can he do it? Will all the sparring that he's had with these world champions and Jean Pascal and all these other guys pay dividends for Jake Paul? Or will Tommy Fury come out on top and explode this myth that a lot of people believe Jake Paul is? So I'm looking forward to it personally. I know there's a lot of people out there who really don't like this kind of thing. You know, they've got the Love Island guy and Tommy Fury and the YouTuber and Jake Paul, and they think that this detracts or takes away from real boxing or proper boxing. But my view is there's space for everything and everybody. It doesn't have to be either or. It can be YouTuber, celebrity boxing, and real boxing. Doesn't have to be either or. You know, the more the merrier as far as I'm concerned. As long as people are focusing on this sport, this particular discipline, pugilism, fisticuffs. Yeah, as long as people are coming to fisticuffs and they're not going into, look, and I've got nothing against MMA. I like MMA, but boxing is my first love. And so I prioritize boxing and the health of boxing over other martial arts, right? So as long as people are coming to boxing to fisticuffs, Queensbury rules, whatever background they're coming from, whether they're YouTubers, whether they're people that work in the city, white collar guys, whatever, they're choosing boxing, I'm happy with it. And there's entertainment to be had at all levels of this sport. That's the way I've always looked at it. I'm not one of these guys who only wants to watch championship level. No, there are guys at much below championship level, guys who will never reach that level that can still provide great entertainment, at least for me. I mean, I'm not going to lie. David Price had a tremendously entertaining career. Are you entertained by what you've seen from David Price over the years? Are you happy that he stepped into the ring? And yeah, it ended badly for old Pricey many times, but it was a thrilling ride, right? It was entertaining. The ups and downs of Mr. Price. Yeah, he was usually, or let me not even say usually, but sometimes snatched defeat from the jaws of victory, which was like, oh, Pricey, you done it again. But then there were other times where he managed to get the win. That's an example of somebody who was nowhere near world level, but he still gave us great entertainment. It got to the stage where when Eddie Hearn had somebody pull out of one of his undercards, he would bring in Pricey. Because I'm telling you, some people will be pushed. They'd have a look at the card and they say, oh, okay, the main event's decent, but the rest of the undercard, meh. Or maybe they were looking forward to the guy who pulled out and then they were thinking, you know what, I'm not going to buy a ticket or I'm not going to buy the pay-per-view. But then when Pricey got drafted in a dangerous fight, they were like, Pricey's on it. let me buy that. Let me buy that pay-per-view. God bless Pricey. But yeah, so there's entertainment to be had at all levels. And with this fight specifically, Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury, they're two young guys, chip on their shoulder, a lot to prove. Tommy Fury's family's been telling him that if he doesn't beat Jake Paul, he should stay in Saudi Arabia. They're basically gonna, I mean, this is what they're saying, might be hyperbole, gonna excommunicate him. So they're putting a lot of pressure on his shoulders, right? And of course, Jake Paul has been trolling Tommy Fury, calling him Tommy Fumbles and all this kind of thing. So yeah, these guys have got a lot to prove. They're young. And normally in these situations, you get a good fight. Normally in these situations, you get, something dramatic happening. Knockouts, knockdowns, and all this kind of thing when you get young guys. That's why I like to see people, where possible, matched quite early on in their careers before they fought for world titles. Just like we saw with AJ and Dylan White, where they were matched early in their careers. It turned out to be an explosive contest. The same situation with Joe Joyce and Daniel Dubois, right? Although it wasn't the most explosive, but it did end with a stoppage. And I mean, even Daniel Dubois against Nathan Gorman. Obviously, Nathan Gorman hasn't turned out to be a great fighter, but still, that was a knockout. I mean, so on and so forth. Fabio Wardley, etc., etc. When you match young guys together, that's normally when you're going to get the most entertaining spectacle, when they've got chips on their shoulders. When they're older and they've been in some championship fights, they're a bit more wily, they're a bit more cagey, and you maybe won't get the same kind of, seesaw battles. But when they're like this, when they're young, that's when you usually see it. And some people are going to say, well, these guys are never going to reach that level. Okay, whatever level they reach, it's the mindset they have at this age, right? It's the mindset that is conducive to a good fight and the energy they have. These guys are in their mid-20s, yeah? And in fact, them being a little bit on the raw side and not as polished as championship level fighters increases the likelihood that it will be a good fight. It's not a guarantee. Even fights at this level can turn out to be stinkers. Okay, so I'm not going to sit here tell you, take it to the bank, this is going to be a thriller. No, I can't guarantee that. But in terms of likelihood, in terms of probability, fights like this have a higher probability of being exciting. So that's what I'll say about it. Bring it on. Does it say here when the contest is going to happen? I'm literally reading February 26th. Okay, and that will be on a Sunday, February 26th. So definitely look forward to that. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Who's going to win? Are you sick and tired of the mainstream mindset? Does the dogmatic conformity and pathological ignorance have you tearing your hair out in frustration? Then don't be alone. Come and join our brotherhood on Patreon. We stand as a beacon of reason against an army of insanity. You'll gain access to my weekly topical podcast, where we take more deep dives than Jacques Cousteau on an endless variety of subjects. There's also videos, interviews, live Q&As, as well as a vast back catalog of previous episodes, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen via the Patreon app or download in high-quality MP3. Connect with myself and hundreds of other members in our Element chat group. There's no contract, no commitment. You can cancel at any time, and it's cheaper than a Mickey D's McMuffin. Just head to my Patreon page via the link below this video and select the tier called the Brotherhood of Reason. I'll see you over there.